first day.
All right, guys. As you can see, we are missing Shane today, but don't worry. We got a much better looking replacement for him. Her name is Kacey Wheeler. If you don't know who she is, she's a badass bitch, and she might knock you out. She fought last week on Barstool's Rough and Rowdy, and she took care of business. So, Kacey, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
You're very flattering. Thank you.
Well, taking care of business is putting it lightly, Chad. The video that I got to see, oh my God, you really handled business there for sure. So tell me the background on this girl. How did this fight even line up?
So I originally was a ring girl in the last one.
Okay.
And I got chosen for the last one because I'm pretty sure like I was a dud. So by dud, I mean like I only had 400 followers, and the top 6 ring. So they're usually 15 ring girls, and the top 6 get money. So they pick like the top 6 that have the most followers, and then the top 6 that don't have a lot of followers. And I think I just had like a nice body, and I lived close to like West Virginia. They were like, all right, she ain't gonna win, but she looks fun. And they invited me there. So, and I had a ton of fun. And I saw these women fighting, and I didn't know women could fight, just because I thought like Barstool, it was like going to be a dude thing, but they had women fight. And I was like, I can do this shit. Like, give me 2 months of training. Like, I can box. Like, I was a Division I athlete. Like, I was like, I just need the technical part. Like, let's do this. And like, I'm bored. It's COVID. I'm a huge competitor.
Frustrations out, right?
Yeah. And my ex, I was in a toxic relationship too, and he like just had gotten engaged like 6 months after we broken up. So there's a timeline. Pretty sure. So it was kind of like therapeutic for me actually to do the ring girl thing, because it was very like insecure and like controlling, and I was like, I'm just gonna like run around in a bikini. It's like the complete like opposite. So it was very therapeutic. So since I was on last time, I kind of like, oh, Hot Wheels, like I kind of like remember her sort of, and I decided, I was like, I want to fight. And apparently Lady Wolf, her name is Jenny, so I might refer to her either way.
Yeah.
Her brother, no, her girlfriend is the sister of One-Eyed Wolf.
Okay.
Are you following?
I'm following. I'm there.
One-Eyed Wolf was the follower, or One-Eyed Wolf was the fighter, and then his sister is dating her.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's how she kind of got into it, because the Wolf Pack, there's like 4 or 5 of them, were already had fought in R&R, and they're like, and I think they were just like, yeah, you should fight, you should do it, like it's amateur fighting, like blah 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 blah. So the promoter texted me and sent me a picture, and it was of this girl. She's like, yeah, she's 5 foot and she's 150 pounds, which we later found out she was not 150 pounds.
No, that girl ain't 150. Not a chance.
You were trying to sneak it away in there, I think.
Oh yeah, no. She was 18 pounds, like overweight. So either she like lied about her weight, or
she didn't try to make weight. That's what happens.
Yeah, I don't know how in 2.5 weeks you gain 18 pounds, but COVID, YOLO.
Right.
So the beef kind of like started with my promo video, because I took a little bit of low blows on her. For instance, like I said, I called her an Oompa Loompa, and I don't know if you guys know what Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is.
Yeah.
But I called her an Oompa Loompa. I like basically like made an innuendo of her being a lesbian by saying like, I'm gonna knock you to the ground, but like you're used to it, like it's kind of like about like eating another girl out, but it was like very subtle. So I was really taking like some low blows, and like all she had said to me was like, oh, I'm gonna pop your tires. So like,
what does that even mean?
Like,
He's the worst.
That's like
The
the
worst
worst
my name-
shit talk I've ever
my
heard.
name is Hot Wheels, so it's like, oh, I'm gonna like pop your effing tires, you know.
Oh.
But all the other fighters were like worse than me, so it was just supposed to be like, you know, it was supposed to be funny. And I think they took it way too seriously, because the one-eyed wolf, the girlfriend's brother, like starts coming at me on Instagram. Like the comments are like deleted and everything too, because he took an even lower blow and was like, the R&R like promoter, Chris, said that you were crying because you wanted to go on Rough and Rowdy, and they said no, so we did you like a favor, because you're an ugly bitch, so you couldn't be a ring girl, and we basically we got you into Rough and Rowdy because my sister felt bad for you.
Jeez.
So that was essentially like, that was me paraphrasing. The comment was more stupid. Like, I lost a couple IQ points reading it.
That's why you came out
So-
swinging, right? Because you had a point to prove that they weren't doing you a favor. You belong, right?
yeah, and like everybody had their bets against me because in the video I just looked like a skinny like stripper. Like, you couldn't see any of my muscle definition or anything because the video quality was so bad because I had an iPhone. So
Oh wow, taking shots on my iPhone.
yeah, so the
You
video
weren't
had
playing
like,
a little shark in the water there and just sending 4 images so that you show up
I
all jacked and
know.
like, who the hell is this? We thought we were signing a ringer tonight.
Yeah, so it actually like worked in my favor here, that the quality was so bad, and then everybody like were like, oh yeah, Lady Wolf's gonna win because this is just like a skinny ring girl. And I was like baffled that nobody like decided to like look me up because my profile was on public, really.
Yeah.
So I mean, anybody could have seen me like hand cleaning like 175 pounds and been like, oh, okay, this girl's not skinny, she's actually fucking ripped. So um that's kind of like how that all started. And so I had a pack of wolves, like a pack of 5 people like hating my guts, and then also like the internet saying like this person is gonna lose. So when I got there first, they got there a little bit later, and they start like howling and they're like, oh, and I was like, this is my fucking opponent. She
Yeah,
comes
right.
in like all dressed in like, you can't see her face. She's like dressed in like this face shield. She is wearing all black. There's like 5 of them. They look like intimidating, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, this is them. They're all like staring me down, and I was like, they go to weigh in. She weighs in at 168. I make my weight at 150, and they were like, you need to gain weight or else you're not going to fight. So we were close to not fighting because of the weight difference.
That's crazy. I don't think I'm not a huge fight watcher by any means, but I can't think of the last time that I heard somebody was told to make sure you eat a whole lot tonight so you can gain a
Oh
bit.
yeah, like they
That's
didn't tell her to lose weight. They just said go gain some weight.
They just, what's the easier route or course of action here? Asking her to lose a few pounds or asking you to eat a couple burgers overnight, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But like,
Um,
I've had numerous amateur fights, and like that's just a normal thing. Like I've had 5 amateur kickboxing fights, and literally like that's just like every time you step on the scale, they're like, what are you gonna weigh ish in about 4 weeks? And then they emphasize the ish. Like there's usually like a 4 to 5
Ish.
pound gap.
Yeah.
Like I remember like one time, like I walked around like 225 ish, and they're like, so what do you think you'll weigh in about a month? Like if I train every day, I don't know, like 204, 205. If I'm heavy, 208. If I'm training every day. I remember the one time, like, okay, cool. The other guy walked in at 242. And then I'm like, did you even try?
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, all I had to do, I was already 150. Like all I had to do was maintain my weight. So that was just like the easiest thing for me. And then like within a day, they're like, yeah, you need to gain like 6 pounds. And because we have to be within 10 pounds of each other. And so she had to take off basically like all of her clothes to like make like
Ugh.
drop like 5 pounds basically. I mean, this was all like behind the scenes, so nobody saw us.
Lucky
So
for us.
Yeah,
that
they looking for a lot of folks.
that night, before, I don't think they were actually going to have us up initially to do the stare down, because in boxing you have the stare downs and you have the shit talk or whatever. But actually I started because I was going to be a ring girl, so I was on the mat trying to figure out if I could do the splits on the mat, like if it was slippery enough that I could do it, and it
Sure.
wasn't. So I didn't do the splits. But she saw me doing it, so she's like, "Bitch, let me teach you how to twerk." And I was like, "Fucking fine, get up here and show me." And she can twerk because she has fat ass. And she can do like she could just jump into the split. So I was just like,
Wow.
what is happening? And we
Yeah.
were getting along really nicely, and I was like, okay, she's not that crazy, like they're just doing it, they were just being, I don't know, doing it for attention.
Yeah.
And she, like, when we got out of the ring, like when we did it, everybody's head turned, they were like, what the fuck is happening over there? And I think that's when they were like, yeah, we got to have these two up there. And I thought we were good. I thought we were just having fun. And then we go up and we do the stare downs. And I don't think they understand what a stare down is. I think like there's something definitely like not totally there with them. They might actually have, I'm not even being like joking. I'm like, they might have like autism or something, because I don't think they understood what was like going on or like how the whole thing worked. And she starts going up. I can't even get a word in. She starts going off. She's like, "See this little Hot Wheels toy?" And it was like a Hot Wheels like donut toy. And she eats it, or like she pretends to eat it, and then throws it on the ground. And she's like, "That's what I'm gonna do to you." And then
This girl
starts
needs to be
going
like on
off.
some sort of professional wrestling, the way that she's trying to make it an entertainment thing, right?
I know, she's like screaming, and I'm like, "I'm gonna let you finish. Let me know when you're done." And then one of the fighters was like, I don't really remember. I mean, like it's in the video, but I think they called her a fat midget.
Oh, oh.
And she turns around, and that's when she starts trying to fight the midget. She's like, "I'm taller than you. I'll beat," like she's throwing out racial slurs.
Gee.
And she's throwing out the racial slurs and saying how she's a street fighter and how she'll fight anybody in the streets. I'm like, that's not going to help you in boxing, sweetie. There's no knives. And I don't know what to do because I can't get a word in. I'm like just sitting there, like being like shit talked, and because she's just so loud. And I was like, okay, let me just throw my ass because that's what everybody wants to see, anyways. So I throw my ass at her, and she's like, "Damn, that pussy stinks," or whatever. And I'm like, "Yeah, you're gonna be smelling it from the fucking ground." And I like I got in her face, and then she like, because I'm so tall and she's so short, she like like half punched me in the face. And that's when I got like infuriated. That's like I got pissed, and I was like, the shit the shit isn't like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And like I lost like all the fear and anxiety like that they came in with, and I was like, no, you're gonna beat the shit out of. And that's I don't know if you know who Jose Canseco is, but he's a American baseball player in 2003. Like
Yeah.
his
Way
net worth.
before that, man. It's like we're talking like late '80s. He played.
Yeah.
Oh well, I don't.
Hey.
I was like 7 in 2003. And
Oh, you're just
he like
insulting us now.
he like well, he comes up to me and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll be your bodyguard." And he's like, "Come over and take a picture with me." He's like, "See this girl? We're gonna make super babies together." And I was like,
Jose.
I don't know how I don't know how to process this. And then
Jesus, he's your grandfather's age.
yeah, I was like, I didn't know how to process it. I thought he was like joking, and like to find out he was not joking, he slid into my DMs like that. And through that whole entire event, like he's trying to get in my pants. Like he ended up trying to pay me $100K to go see him in Vegas, like over text messages. And I
That's
was
a
like,
sound
no.
investment, Jose.
I know,
I
I
don't
was
even know
like,
if he has 100K anymore, does he?
no, he doesn't. I was like, you're worth 500K. Where are you
He
getting
got
this
$1 million for that
100K?
fight.
No, he didn't. That's a fucking lie.
Dave came out and said that.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I thought that was a lie. I thought he was only getting like 50K to show up, and then I didn't think he would get like part of the proceeds from
Yeah,
it.
he had the pay-per-view buys. Dave said he made out with just short of $1 million.
Yeah,
Good
well,
Lord.
I know he threw the fight for a fact because basically he texted me saying like, if I win my fight, like you owe me a date and you're my date for the rest of the weekend. And I was like, I didn't agree to that. And he actually showed his face after the after party, and he was like, hey, let me buy you that like tequila shot. And I was like, I don't date losers. And then he like fucks off. And then he comes back around and then he's like, come on, let me like buy you some food. Let me do something for you. And I was like, I already told you, like you lost your fight. There is no deal. And he's like, oh, I didn't lose. Like I just made like more money than you would see in your lifetime. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he fucks off
Also,
again.
not the line to pick up girls with. Like
That's
that's
right.
not going to work for you.
Well, he later texts me, still trying to get my pants. He's like sending me like fuck boy like pictures. Like he sent me pictures from when he was like in his 40s, and he's like,
So like
is
35
that
years ago?
yeah? He's trying to like catfish me, and I'm like, bro, we're in the same building. I know what you look like. And he's like sending me like, he's like, because I was like, you're like, I'm very flattered. Like I was nice to him initially because I was like, I'm very flattered. Like in terms of like famous totem poles, like you're up here and I'm down here, so like I'm completely flattered by it, but the age gap is really killing me because his daughter's 23, I'm 24, so that's
Yeah.
fucking weird. He's older
Yeah.
than my dad. That's weird.
You have dinner
um
at 6, he has dinner at 3:30. Like it wouldn't work out very well.
it was just so weird. And he like he's sending me, he's like, if he's like, I get the age thing, my last girlfriend was 29. I was like, this still doesn't make it any less weird because I'm literally a year older than your daughter, and that like how is that not weird to you? Like I really think he really wanted to make super babies with me because that's like, I don't even know if he has the balls still from the steroids to even make babies left, but he was even
7
like,
different kinds of smoke she's got, Chad. 7 of them.
I know, dude. Well, he was on Pardon My Take. I don't know if you that
Oh yeah.
podcast,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
he was saying that he was in love with me on that
Oh,
podcast. He was like,
good God.
they were like on the podcast they were like, oh, you're an ass and legs guy because he rejected Madonna. And he's like, yeah, I'm an ass and leg guy. And he's like, oh, did you see that ring girl Kacey? And he's like, Kacey, yeah, I'm in love with her, I'm gonna marry her. I'm like,
Wow. Shout outs the following day. Good for you. Good for you.
so that was like the creepiest thing that happened.
So we're
um
a few days out from the fight happening. Did you and your opponent ever exchange messages after the fight? You guys
no,
on good terms? Or it's
no,
because she looks like she was
I
still pretty pissed after the fight, giving you the finger
her
with your hand in the air.
girlfriend, I don't know if you look on my Facebook, or no, sorry, if you look on my Instagram, you can see her girlfriend commenting, like trying to like defend herself, and it's not working.
No.
She actually said, she was like, because I went out with a video saying like um how they got kicked out of the casino like immediately after the fight, like they were escorted out. And if you go to L Wolf or One Eyed Wolf's thing, he it shows him like on video like cursing at the cops and stuff like that and calling them like pussies and like escorting them outside the casino. And she came out, she's like, she's a fucking liar, we never threatened her life. And I was like, honey, I never said you threatened my life. I said you threatened my safety, and that was perceived by them, not me. So,
Ain't your fault.
she's like, well, we were like, we were, we were scared for our safety because, like, we're Spanish and y'all are racist. I was like, bitch, don't bring race into this. You were throwing racial slurs all around like the building. Like, you're really gonna bring race into this? And
That's
like
crazy.
just trying to find any like excuse to like why her like girlfriend lost or whatever.
So
And
Casey, what does the future hold for you here? Does that mean you're gonna have another match with this girl lined up?
no, they're not allowed back in the casino. I mean,
Oh,
they're not allowed back.
that means there's going to be a backyard match at some point. Then
Yeah,
it's got to go down like that.
street beefs, man.
Yeah, well, just make sure she doesn't have a knife. She already told you about how good she is with them,
Oh
right?
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, you've seen her
I
speed.
mean,
I think you're safe.
in the pre-fight meeting, they said if you have to be kicked out for A, poor sportsmanship, or A, being like too rowdy, that they are never allowed back, and that they are never allowed to be in rough and rowdy ever again, and they're on the do not fight list. So
Jeez.
They all got kicked out, so I highly doubt you'll see them again in a future Rough and Rowdy.
Brutal.
And he was pretty serious about that too.
One of my favorite parts of the fight is like, I actually thought you were taunting. Then on your IG video, you talked about it. You said like, you full told us you're like, it's okay to take a knee. It's pretty much what you said to her. And like, as
Yeah,
a guy
'cause
that
in
has
the
fought before, like it sounds so much more disrespectful than it was. But I think you actually meant it from a good place.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
well, in the pre-fight meeting, they said we're not going to stop you from being beat the shit out of. So if you can't handle it, take the knee. So in the video, you see me, you can't hear me, but I'm like pointing down. So it sounds like I'm trash talking her and saying like come fight me, but really I was like she was out of breath. Like I started feeling a little bit bad for her. Like she's definitely overweight. Like I didn't come out with a scratch. I hurt myself from punching her than she hurt me. I like my shoulder was sore, but like that was it. Like I didn't come out with a single bruise, no scratches. Her punches, you could tell she was deconditioned because her punches, like I felt like I was being punched by a 13-year-old. Like they didn't hurt like whatsoever. And it's just I started feeling bad. Like so I offered her, I said, take the knee or I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. So I kept telling her, like, take the knee, like, because you can tell in the video, like, just how tired and like because I kept saying that, that's why it lasted so long to round three. Like it should
Mhm.
have definitely ended in round one, but I was trying to give her like take the knee, like, or you're gonna get beat the shit out of.
Well, like the
And
clip on your
as
Insta, like it's only like the first initial punches of the fight that you have that one clip, and like you could tell like when she gets stunned and is put into the corner, that look on her face, and we're only talking four
oh,
punches
she was
into it.
completely terrified when she saw me.
Oh
She was
yeah,
completely terrified. Yeah,
100%. She walked in tough, and like I said, four punches in, she's there, deer in the headlights. Holy shit, what I walked myself into tonight.
exactly. So like, I mean, I didn't want to put her in the hospital. I mean, I could have, but I could have knocked her out. But like,
You're
that's
nicer than me,
it's
Casey. I'll
just
tell you
not.
that much.
It's just not like I don't know. A lot of people like if you who do know me or like say that I look tough on the outside, but I'm like small and it's like a marshmallow on the inside. And like even like my mom's family friends are like you couldn't ever beat somebody up, like you're just like you're too nice kind of thing. But because I had something to fight for, because she was a bully even until the end, like flicking me off,
Mhm.
I just didn't care. I was like she's still like calling me a bitch and flicking me off, there's no like fuck it. And so I just kept beating at her until they like finally were like, all right, we gotta like stop this. um I'm actually a better boxer than what it looked. I just like was so mad, and I knew she didn't know how to box like the minute after I threw the first couple punches. So I was just like fuck it, like let's brawl, we're gonna brawl. Like
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna box, I'm just gonna brawl, I'm just gonna like load up
Overhead
my
punches
punches
the
as
shit
much as
out of
yeah,
her, right?
exactly. Like if I actually was going to do this like strategically, I would have like kept more of my distance. I would have because I've been training for like 2.5 months. Like I'm actually pretty good. Like I think if I were to face like an actual boxer, I would have been a totally different type of person. um but I just wanted to brawl. I was just like I just want to beat the crap, I don't want to think about this, I just want to beat the living shit out of her is what it was.
Mhm.
Did your like former varsity athlete come back into you like at that moment? Like,
Oh,
is
that
it like
shit,
it's game day all over again? It's like, all right, it's time to handle
that
business.
shit helped me in the long run. I don't know if you've ever actually you guys might understand because it's the metric system, but I don't know if you've ever run 400 meters before because that shit hurts.
Liam can't
And
do 400 meters. I'll tell you right now. He's tapping at three.
yeah, so if you ran track and field and if you've ever run a 400 or a quarter mile or it's the worst feeling in the lactic acid, that pain, that burning sensation, the wall, um like that felt worse than that fight. And like I did feel a little bit of that lactic acid in the fight, but like you could tell like she was like sitting and catching her breath and I was just like walking around like during like the 30-second, like I don't think I took a seat really. during those little like break intervals. Like after 30 seconds, my heart rate was down and I was ready to go. Like I'm just like sitting there, I'm just waiting for her to like catch her breath and like just walking around like picking my butt, just like waiting for the like second round to go. Like Dave Portnoy I think said at the end, I wasn't like out of breath. I was a little out of breath. Like I was breathing hard a little bit by the end, but it was just like my shoulders were tired and they needed to be like stretched. And he was like, that's the only time she showed like that she was tired.
So you proved something to yourself, obviously, through this fight too, right? So through all of that, do you have the itch now? Is this going to be a regular thing for you, or what's going to happen here?
Yeah, I've this actually built up my confidence because actually the weekend before I had my first sparring session. It's also on my highlights in my Instagram. And within my first actual sparring session with an actual fighter, she hit me straight in my face and my nose started bleeding everywhere.
Oh
And there was
shit!
blood all over my shirt. Like within the
Welcome
first
to the
two
league, bro.
seconds. Yeah. It like put like reality in my head and that also kind of like freaked me out and I was like, "Oh my god, I might get my ass kicked because like this girl just within 5 seconds of sparring just like
Boom.
destroyed my face. Like boom, right in the face. Like and I was like, fuck, like this sport might not be for me. And I had to like there was a couple times where I sparred and I actually kind of like teared up afterwards because I was like pissed because I was like I know I can do this. Like this is like but like just the reality of getting hit in the face
Mm-hmm.
and getting hit like I was like the athlete in me was like don't give up. Like you're going to get hit. Like you've you've gotten hit in the face harder with a soccer ball. Like give like the athlete also in me like reminded me like cuz was like hey like it's a process like you didn't like when you first ran a 400 like you were running like really slow and then by college you were breaking school records so like you have to like give it a little bit more time. So there were definitely a couple times even like before the like that main fight that I just wanted to quit because I was like I'm actually like not good at this. And then I don't know for whatever reason after that fight like I started training again. Like I started getting my boxing coach was like, what the fuck happened? Like, I started like, I was dodging more, I was more agile, I was like getting the combinations, like, I was quick, I was lethal. Today, I was like, I was scared of me because I was becoming like, usually he's always yelling at me. And like this day, he was just quiet. He was just like, good, like giving me that like little nod. Like, he's like, seeing like that potential like this bitch is
Mm-hmm.
gonna be like she's gonna be like she's gonna be like a golden glove champion kind of look at me because I think the advantage I have over other fighters is just having that track and field background and like I kept up with it and like i'm sh- I have a lot of power because I was a sprinter and I do a lot of like power cleans and Olympic lifting itself that like just giving me that technique and if I can connect if I can just actually use that power through my punches like somebody hits my I could probably get a knockout every single time like
Yeah.
with anybody.
Woof. I'm gonna be
It's
following your
funny you
career,
said that.
girl.
I
Hmm?
said it's funny you said that because I remember my first sparring session I ever had. Like I remember like getting popped in the mouth and like I came back to my corner like a deer in headlights. Like what the fuck am I doing? And then my coach looked at me. He just said stone cold. He's just like, it's not naturally a punch in the face.
Oh
Trust the
yeah.
process. One day it's gonna click. Now years later, it's like I will like you'll just step into a jab. You're like that was just a jab. And then
Mhm.
like now you said how you say your coach noticed the change right away.
Yeah, it was it
And
was
that definitely comes
definitely
from your background, right? It's like pushing yourself.
this week I hit that click like it was I think for me it was like confidence a lot of the time and like feeling you know with when you start anything like you feel like inadequate in any type of like when you first start And that was what was frustrating me, because I was uh like in college, like I broke school records, like I held myself in high esteem, and I was like very hard on myself. I'm like, oh, why am I not, like, I know I can do, like, I know I can. It's like, it's right there, it's right there, it's right there. And then this past week, like, everything just kind of like fell into place. Like I felt more confident. Like, so that fight actually like definitely like helped me, like, okay, I can do this shit. Like I could probably fight like a real person now and not get my ass handed to me. So I'm actually really excited, because I can't wait for the next, like, I definitely want to do another R&R to come out, because I think like it's going to be like I'm going to be a totally different like fighter than I was like in that last art, and it's going to really like surprise people, I think.
What were the Barstool guys like? Like, how was that after party? Because that's something that we're never gonna get today. Like you said, you were up till 5 in the morning, and I was like, man,
I
like
was
I go to
up until
these guys make fun of me. I go to bed at like 10. So
that was, I only stayed up until 5 because they were because I was trying to network the shit out of myself, you know? Like I didn't see the big guys like the PF commentator Dave Portnoy, and I don't know where their after party was, but I talked to Billy Football a lot, and his girlfriend. I love his girlfriend. Billy, they're still in college. Billy Football is like a Division 3 football player. And then his girlfriend's a field hockey player. And she stayed out of a lot of the limelight. And it was so sad to me when I like heard this from her, because she's like, yeah, I'm like not in Billy's Instagram and stuff because like I'm afraid people would like call me ugly. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, do you know how many comments I have people calling me like a fucking butterface? Like, I was like, you girl, you just have to like, she's like, you're so confident. Like, you just went and just did it. And I was like, because like, I remember like in college and definitely in high school, like that insecurity. And as you know, as you get older, you just don't give a fuck anymore. And like, so as I've gotten older, I just don't care. Like, it's just, it is what, if you like me, you like me. If you don't, if you don't.
That's right.
Um,
And there's going to be
so
trolls and there's going to be haters
yeah,
everywhere.
there's always going to be haters, and it's always, I was like, it's always from the ugliest people. Like the uglier you're the person, the more they're going to like find a flaw in you. And I told her, I was like, because she did not want to be in the limelight like at all. She was like, I let him do his thing, like he's blown up, and they've been together for like 2 years apparently. But yeah, she was super cool. She was very, very like, she was like fangirling over me, which I thought was funny.
That's
And we stayed up until we got kicked out of the well, we didn't get kicked out of the casino, but they're closing. We went back to the room. Jose's calling me. I'm hanging out with the R&R promoter, and then like the camera guys and the guys who run the social media. Like like a it's like a 10-person, like we were all tested for like yeah, we were tested for like COVID and everything. So I feel like if I gotten COVID, I'd have it by now. Um, so it was just like people who already got tested, and we were all like negative at that point. So, and I had
that's
the
good.
vaccine. I had the vaccine too. So like I wasn't that worried.
yeah.
But they were super nice. I mean, Chris came up to me and was like, you like stole the show, like you were the actual headliner. He was like, honestly, I thought you were a stripper at first.
Is that a compliment or an insult?
I don't know. He was like, well, because sorry, my battery's running low. um so he was like, because when he's like, when you first applied, I thought you were just like a stripper because your name was Hot Wheels, but he's like, I didn't realize that like you were like like a strong, like, I don't know
Like,
why people do research on me, but like, she's like, I didn't realize how like strong and like a fucking badass you were. And like even Dave Portnoy and the commentators, he's like, yeah, we gotta have this like girl back. So
that's awesome.
um
So it'll happen again then.
yeah, I according to Dave Portnoy, like yeah,
Well, if he's saying it, then it's going to happen, right?
yeah. So I think they're gonna. I mean, I went from like 400 followers to almost 6K followers in like one day.
That's
So
amazing.
insane to me. It was
Well,
crazy.
we were one of them, so it worked.
I
out.
was I didn't I tried to like in Instagram right now won't let me like follow people back because they're like you followed too many people today, so wait until tomorrow until you can follow back people.
So that's
That's a
why
thing.
Taylor Lewan's not following me, Chad. He just
Yeah.
has to get down the list to get to me. That's why.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
okay.
what it
know.
is.
I like it's hard because like I said I got like 5 6K followers and like I had like some of the fighters like message me and like well there are a lot of people who messaged me and like people who just got lost in my DMs um and everything
Oh,
like
is that what you're telling those poor souls? They got lost in your DMs.
I like couldn't keep
I
I
like
didn't
it.
know I got
Yeah. Fuck. I wish it was.
thousands
If I was single, that's what I'd be using. Oh, you just got lost in my DMs,
You just got
sweetheart.
lost by
it's just
That's
like
what
a lot of
I used to tell the
people
girls on there. You just got
Yeah.
lost in the DMs.
Yeah, got lost in the DMs.
I got lost in the DMs. You wouldn't believe how many people like asked me for my Cash App and they just wanted to like fucking pay me. Like not
What?
even show them a nude or anything. It was just like, hey, what's your Cash App? I was like, are you trying to give me tip? Like, what's happening here? Like,
Crazy. Well, hey, man, everybody's got to get paid, right? You're
only
still.
that.
No, they're not going to get mad. They're not going to want to cut off you, though, are they?
Oh, I didn't take the money. I mean, and so I don't know if you guys have listened to my little podcast thing, but in my podcast, I say like some guy tried to Venmo me like $80 and I sent it back to him, because I don't want to be a girl that has a price. Number one, because for me, I kind of want to be like more self-made. Like I would rather say that like, hey, I mean, I know when to ask for help, right? I know when to use my resources. I know
Mhm.
when to like, you know, like if I need help, like I'm gonna ask for it, but I don't want a handout. Like I don't want to be a charity case. Like I know I'm 80K in debt, but like, um, like
That's
I
just
want to
young
be
student
more.
life, right?
Yes, I'm in so much student debt. I have like 3 jobs. I live with my parents. Like they're letting me live here for free because I live in an area that's very, very wealthy. Um, and basically all my income goes to my student loans. Um, so I work at a restaurant. I'm a personal trainer and I'm a high school track coach. So I like maybe work at the restaurant 2 3 times a week, depending if like how much money I need. But the reason why I do that is because I love my personal training job. And right now with COVID, not a lot of people are going to gym. So I've had to like rebuild my business. Like
Yeah.
it was so annoying. I had like 65 clients and then like now I'm down to 20 because it's just like fucking COVID, man.
What it is. Yeah.
Um, so that was frustrating. And I'm still trying to rebuild that. More and more people are coming to the gym, but it's still like also like I'm a luxury item. like like people can't, especially with the economy right now, like people can't afford like getting their nails done, getting their hair done, like going out to eat to restaurants. Like how small businesses are struggling.
Yeah.
People like the thing people are gonna get is like personal training, because again, it's like one of those like luxury items almost. It's a
Mhm.
customer service, so that's been like tough for me too.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully you can make a career out of this, right? Make some money. We call you. It'll be
Yeah,
Money Mayweather type cash.
I
Yeah.
think so. One of the things my mother brought up was brand kind of like awareness. So she like I've gotten a lot of good like feedback, but she also wanted to like hit me upside the head a little bit with some reality. Because she was like, you have to be aware that like going on Rough and Rowdy is like pretty trashy. And like you
Mom,
know
come
Mom,
like
on. I
off
love
the top rope.
go
Yeah, really, eh?
you going up there and shaking your ass and like walking around and like doing all that, like she's like that might come back and bite you in the ass. And I was like, okay, one, I'm a personal trainer, because she was like talking about jobs and I was like, both my bosses watch the fight, so I look good in a bikini, so that's only going to help my business. And like it's not even like portrayed myself as more like funny, not like I feel like it was like more satire than like actually trying to like twerk or like shake my butt. And that's what I've been going to pivot my Instagram towards. Like, I'm gonna try and like give the people what they want, which is like my butt, but also like giving them actual like personal training and nutrition advice. So for example, uh, tomorrow I'm going to it's going to be tomorrow I'm going to post a picture. It's going to be me like eating a cupcake out of the fridge, like with my ass showing. I'm not going to be wearing like a thong. It's going to be like PG. It's going to be like tight booty shorts or something. It's going to be
Get
like
the
me in
inside
the
scoop
fridge
here.
and the what's it called? What's the Instagram? The bio? No, the picture.
The caption.
No, bottom of the picture. What's it called?
The caption.
The cap. Yeah. Why can't I think of that? The caption's going to be looking for a snack? Question mark. Let's talk about nutrition. And then if you swipe right, it's actually going to give you like a sound. It's going to give you nutrition advice. Like it's going to be all the boring stuff.
Yeah.
But at least you give people like something funny. Like
Yeah. Create a nice brand there. I get it.
it's not going to be like sexual. It's going to be like my ass, which is like, but it's also going to be like me obnoxiously eating a cupcake or something. So it's going to be like a little bit like a both because that's going to like grab the attention, you know? And then just like all the boring stuff like on the other side because you got to appeal to your audience, right?
Yeah, I feel you.
It's like clickbait too. So but it also might help people and like I want to pivot like my brand, like I don't want to be like one of those basic, like you got to be different in some way, right? I don't want to like be a basic, like you see those fitness models and they're like do my workout and it's like some type of stupid ass like glute isolation shit, or like they do things tailored to like it's very self-absorbed, like tailored to themselves. Like a lot of people can't fucking squat or do a lunge or like in the United States 63% of our population is overweight. Do you really think somebody like who's overweight can do a lunge? They don't have the core like it's so I want to try and like give, because a lot of people have all questions about, like I'm a certified nutrition coach, like a lot of people don't have that education and I would love to kind of like
Spread the awareness, right? Get it out.
Well, you got to build your brand, right? So like help
yeah
going out there is going to help you out. And maybe you said you went from 400 to 6,000 followers and really
yeah
overnight, pretty much, right? So it's going to
yeah
push your brand. That's kind of like what we always talk on ours. Like we have no problem doing that, and that's what we're doing, right? We're only 6 months old and we were growing rapidly. We're just like we're putting our brand out in the right way. And we're doing it all the time. And for someone like you, still have to sell yourself. It makes the most sense.
yeah so like I pivot my brand to be like kind of funny, kind of like I don't want to be like one of those basic Instagram models, because do you know how many times I've had female clients been like, well, I follow this Instagram model and she, I was like, don't fucking don't please stop, knock it off, don't ever do that. Like they just like personal trainers in general like
Casey, I think
don't.
your hands on the mic there.
Hello.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Perfect.
Like personal trainers just they don't understand how to train normal people. Like a lunge is hard, like for most people, believe it or not. Like a sit up is hard for most people, and like they're giving out this like fitness advice, and or they're like showing off just looking pretty. Like that's so fucking boring. Like okay,
Yeah.
you're hot, but like what else? Okay, you're into fitness and you can eat right. Like how do you get there? Like it's just like, oh, it's a nice picture to like look at, like scroll next, you know. um so I would kind of want I kind of want to be able to keep like obviously rough and rowdy, be able to still like be into their kind of thing because that's the crowd that's following me right now, but also like kind of pivot my brand towards more like fitness and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
guess you would say.
Well, you share
So
us and we'll share you, Casey.
Yeah, of course. I'm all about like, like posting about other people too. So
Right.
like you gotta like if one person posts about you, then they see it, then another person's, and that's how you do it. That's how you like network. So like when people post about me, I'll repost it. Like I reposted that girl Vicky, um, because I definitely want to like train with her. She's the R&R Rough and Rowdy 3 times. She holds 3 belts from Rough and Rowdy,
What?
and I would love to. I think I'm gonna fly to Rhode Island probably. I want to go see her, and talk to her. And I was thinking about getting all the female Rough and Rowdies, even the toothless girl, and putting them on like post or like all on one thing. It would be like really cool, and then have R&R promote that because it would be have like all these badass girls, and then like that one toothless girl. So it's still got that fun. Got
You
that one
should smile with your mouth closed, sweetheart.
funny element. Have all these like badass like women, because again, Rough and Rowdy, their brand is like kind of trashy. So like they do want serious people to some extent, but they also like want people to like, you know, they want people to like make fun of too.
That's right. That's right.
It's the same brand they're building. It's at the same time, right? It's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like that's how I do go rough and around. It was like a bunch of that don't know how to fighting. Like that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So like you kind of need to be like if you're too serious, they're like, okay, they did have like a couple girls who were actually pretty like good fighters that were on there, and I think with the females I would say they could be a little bit more serious because it's kind of like hotter that way that the females are able to fight. Like that's going to get more attention than females who don't know how to fight, maybe. I don't
Mhm.
know, like um so like they want like met guys who can't like actually fight so they can like like
Make
who are
fun of them as they're punching.
yeah.
That's what I watched last weekend. Like all I kept thinking was just throw a goddamn straight punch, you'll win this fight. And I'm pretty sure that your boxing coach probably told you the same thing. Just punch straight, you're gonna win. Like
Exactly.
the
So
second
and
their opponent's elbow goes out, just punch straight. It's that simple. But yeah, like
yeah,
no one wants to see that. Everybody wants to see this haymakers swanging and banging, laughing and joking, and watching some guy drink a beer afterwards.
exactly. Exactly. And I think it's hilarious when guys go on there and they're like, "Oh, I can lift like 700 pounds. Of course I can go beat the shit out of another guy." Like it's not about strength. Number one. Number two, muscle mass is going to slow you down in a boxing match. So, I think it's hilarious when you get like the toughest guys or like the strongest guys or the guys that look like fucking ripped and they just get their ass like handed to them eventually. So that's what I think that's the funniest thing in the entire world.
Yeah. When Muscle Beach gets beat up, it's a good look.
Yeah, it is a good.
For sure. Well, man,
All right,
this was
Casey, you want to say thank you for coming on? We had a lot of fun with you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
um, of course you can DM me or anything with any more questions. It was a pleasure to be here, you guys. I know I feel like I talked a lot and I didn't really give you a lot to say.
What? Oh no,
Um,
man. Casey, you fill us in with a hell of a lot of good stuff today, man. This was a great conversation. Like I
yeah,
honestly I had not personally heard of this Rough and Rowdy until Chad had basically brought you up a week ago or so, and I've been kind of following you since then, and it's been fun. Like I said, I'm excited to see what happens next. Now that you're saying you got the itch, I expect to see you back on there. You got a number one fan over here in your corner, so I'm sure Chad will be in your corner too, and Liam. I'm sure he didn't talk much, but
you
I'm sure
might.
he'll be in your corner.
I don't know if you might need to give like some backstory for people who don't know. Um, but like I again like if you need any like if you have any more like follow-up questions or stuff, I would be happy to answer it for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
for
hit
sure. Like, well, that way you're going to fight again. That's what you said. So we want you back on before
I'm
and
gonna
after.
we're
That's what
gonna
we're
see.
talking about.
for sure.
All right, Casey. Have a
All
great
right,
night.
thank
Eh?
you for
Thank you very
having me
much.
on. Have a
Yeah.
good night.
See ya.
Don't stay up too late.
See how we're going.